was a little concerned after cutting this. There's quite a difference in the gap here when I went to the coping saw from the jigsaw. So I did this morning just to see the difference. This was the jigsaw, this was the coping saw. Got out the micrometer. I'm gonna have to turn this somehow. Let's look and see the difference. Over 60 thousandths is the, and only about 45. I'm not sure what I'm going to do here. I know I've got to take these down, and they actually recommended on one of the knife making sites I found doing 220 grit on a piece of glass and pulling it one way, not back and forth, just a single direction. However, with as bad as this is here, I'm going to have to do something with this. I've got the option of using the orbital sander, quarter sheet sander. I'm not sure that's, I think that's 100 or 150 grain grit paper on there. The other option I've got is, and it's what somebody suggested to me, I don't know if I'm going to do it. Now this one's actually mine. Don't use it very often, but the belt sander. The belt sander actually, when I bought it, I bought 50 and 80 grit to go with it, but I used the one that came on it, and it came with a 120 grit belt on it. And I think I'm going to start out just to try to get this smoothed where I went from the jigsaw to the coping saw. I think I'm going to try to do that first with this real gently to try to level that. And then once I get that done, to clean up. And if you can see it, there's still a slight pencil line right there along the front. And I got to figure out how to clamp it either way. But I'm going to get out an extension cord. I got the tools, but no power. So let me do that, and then I'll start sanding a bit. Well, this one actually did a pretty good job. There's still a little bit of rough, but I think I can get that off. This one, though, it's still showing quite a bit. I'm sure I can get it off. It's just how much I'm willing to do. I think I'm going to leave this one. I did do both sides, but I think I'm going to do this and do some paper on a flat surface like they mentioned. I don't know if I don't have any glass, but I'm sure I can find something that's relatively smooth. I'm going to continue sanding, but just something to think about. I've been doing a lot of research, and because these are kitchen knives, I don't want to put anything that's possibly toxic on it. Pardon me. And I've done a lot of research, and some of the research said put nothing on it. Other of the research said to do part orange oil, part coconut oil, and then dilute that in water, and then follow that by, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, carnauba, C-A-R-N-A-U-B-A wax, which comes from a palm, so it's should be food safe, non-toxic. But there were a lot that said for kitchen knives, don't do anything. If anybody has an idea, please comment and let me know. I'm going to go back to trying to smooth out these few little areas before I go into a finer sand to get a more true surface. Well, that didn't work very well. I guess I need some more sandpaper. To that off, there's just a small little lip there. I don't want to do too much with this heavier grit. I don't want to take too much off, so I'm gonna go back to the 100 grit, I think, or whatever this was. I think it was 100. It might have been 150, and we'll be right back to doing some more. Put on. I don't know. That might have been what I was using. It doesn't really matter. Now I'm going to get back and do a little more sanding, try to clean these up again before I try to find a flat surface to do the smooth sanding where they're going to go against the blade. Well, I got that smoothed down a little bit, but I've rounded it a bit. I do have the potential, because it's the same, of using the outside for the inside. Not sure what I'm going to do yet on that. We'll have to see. If I do too much on what was the center, I won't have enough for the handle. And it's already starting to show some rounding, like I would like when I finish it. The next step is I need to line this up and do the original mark where the front is, so that they're even. Have to figure out how to clamp that. We may get that tonight. We'll see how it goes. I put away the belt sander, decided I'm not going to use that. Although, I think I need to get the rod, the pin I should say, since it's not a rod, so that I can hold this, so I can mark these again. I actually got out the blade again. I do have the original, half of the original handle for this. Which side's which? Okay, that's the cut side. So when this is done, that will be the knife, and I'm thinking, just from looking at it right now, use the factory edge on the outside. Will be a much smoother and easier to do. Oh, I forgot. Oh, man. Forgot to get the poor man's anvil from my brother. I'm going to keep doing this, but I need to find the rod. I know where it's at, I think. Be right back. Okay, got out the drill and the number 30 bit again. Going to see about opening these holes just a little bit. Smells good. Oh, wait a minute. That doesn't smell good. That's the motor on the drill. I forgot it's got something wrong. Yeah, I forgot that this has something. It's about 5 or 6 years old, and it's been in the truck and tossed around, and it doesn't smell very good. I thought it was, for a second, the wood sawdust, but it wasn't. This is the old blue Ryobi, but it is the lithium battery that goes with some of my other tools that aren't here. Okay, they are here, they're just not out here, not being used. Okay, let's try this now. Much better. Now I'm coming down to the part where I wasn't sure of how to cut this rod. I have the end cuts here. I could use them, or I could use a hacksaw or a sawzall, or any number of saws. But I think what I'm going to do is test it with the end cuts here. It's brass after all, and brass is fairly soft. Well, it's soft, but not that soft. It mangled it, but it did, I think, bend it enough that I'll be able to cut it. Yep. And didn't tear it up too bad. Let's see if that'll go through. I don't know if it's visible, but there is my pencil line. The only way to go lower is to drop the legs on the tripod. Don't really want to do that, but I may have to. I don't want to break this $4 numbered bit either, so I'm going to put it away. There's my cut end. And it did go through. Although, yeah, it even went through the tang on the blade. Okay, so that will work, although probably not the recommended usage. I only need to line this up so I can shape the front of the handle. I'm not sure how many. Probably do need 2 pins, but for now I'm just gonna see if I can do something here. Nope, 2 pins. A little bit cleaner on this one. At least that one didn't go flying. See if we got enough length. We did. Yeah, I think I can get that clamped around the blade. Well, that one just fell right out. I guess that's a good thing. first cut was a little rough, so I couldn't get it through. I am putting where I made the cut with this jigsaw on the outside now, because I've rounded it with the sander. Rounded it a little bit too much there. I guess I'll have to file that off. I do have the file. This is why I did this, is so I could put the half of the handle back on. And if you can see the pencil line, now I know where I need to shape this to for that front of the handle, which the reason why I learned that they do that now is because if you don't do it now, you'll never get them to match, because you'll have the blade interfering with your shaping. And then we're going to see about doing some rough filing. But I need to be careful. I want to get these as perpendicular to the face as possible. Clamping the other end on my makeshift bench here. Okay, I think I need to move a little bit so I can get to this and still leave the camera on it. A little bit of zoom, maybe. Have to think this with. Okay, got to keep in mind, I'm not a professional. I'm just making do here. Had to clamp something along the side of this so that it was standing straight. I think I may need to actually run the sander over this, or at least some paper, to try to get this a little better. Don't do that, that's not right. I don't know, this might work. So you don't clog your files, you only want to use them one way. And I have been not doing that. Well, it's not done, but you can see that it's getting closer to that pencil line, at least on that front edge. I'm not worried about here or here yet, because those two sides can be worked after the blade's attached. Gonna let it go for a bit. I gotta clamp down some more, and we might make it long, we might not. Let's see how it goes. Well, considering my working conditions, I think that's going to be it for that. I may take some sandpaper just real quick across the face, but I'm not going to shape this anymore. It just wants to be as uniform one side to the other as possible. Once again, don't use my use of a file as a learning experience, because I didn't do it right. But I think that is a good enough let's zoom back out. I think that's going to be good enough for the front. And now I think get the blade put on. Guess I'm going to have to come up with another anvil since I forgot to pick one up over the weekend. I know I'll be seeing my brother in about 2.5 or 3 weeks, but I don't know. I might have to put this off. We'll see how it goes. I also have to make the other handle, so we will definitely see how it goes. If you like, thumbs up, subscribe, and I'm not on social media. If you want to share, that would help, and I would appreciate it. Thank you much. Have a good night.